So I know I'm probably a bit late to the party when it comes to Pride Month, but since I haven't recorded anything else so much Pride related to show off in June for this month, I thought I'd just wear my Pride shirt that I designed. Hang on a minute, let me just get off my chair and show you better. I can't really turn around because of how small the space in this room is, but yeah, so I am a Spiromantic for those who don't know, and yeah, so just while I haven't filmed anything specifically Pride related, I just thought I'd wear it for this video because it's the only video I'm actually able to film for this month. So let's get on with this. So hey, it's Harry Husky, and this is an iMac G5. This goes back to 2006, and I was actually kindly gifted this by a cousin of mine. It was actually my uncle's. He had it in his barber shop. It also had a silicone keyboard cover to stop any hairs getting into the keys, which is actually up in the attic as of recording this, so I can't really bother to get it out just to show off that one little bit. But yeah, I've got it here in my bedroom at the moment. I'm not really using it a lot. That's because of the limited purposes and very limited things I can do with this at the moment. I felt like it would have been rude for me not to accept this into my life, and I kind of wanted to take it on just for nostalgic purposes. And yeah, I'm really proud that I've actually got one of these on my desk right now, because this is coming up to about 15 years old, and I just wanted to see how well it holds up compared to the modern iMacs that are out nowadays. I mean, I do actually have a 2013 MacBook Air, which is coming up to 8 years old, but it's still able to get the latest software, even though it's been pretty laggy, and that MacBook is actually holding up well to this day. Unfortunately for this one, it has actually stopped receiving updates, and it's actually running on the latest software it is compatible with. But I just want to point out, in case there are any security paranoid people watching this, I have actually installed security protection prior to filming this video and prior to actually putting it online, because I was told by somebody who works with computers and who used to have these in their schools and colleges, and was told that they had to get rid of them, otherwise they would not be security protected. I mean, they probably could. It would just be the case of having to install security protection individually on separate computers, and that probably would have been quite a hassle and may have been cheaper just to replace the computers entirely. Now, my setup for this just consists of the iMac itself, the wireless keyboard that was included. Unfortunately, I don't have a separate Apple mouse with it, so I just got this USB one that I had lying around in a drawer in the computer room somewhere. So basically what I'm going to do with this is do some of the stuff I normally do on a computer, on a Mac or whatever, but only with what is installed at the moment on this. So I'm not going to be adding on anything, I'm not going to be trying to update anything. I'm just going to be using what this has got to see how well it holds up now to this day. So starting off with what most people, I would imagine, use a computer for, and that is internet browsing. So after I did install this security protection, I did try out the internet browsing first thing. And the speed of it was reasonably well. Everything loaded up fine, regardless of if it was Safari or Chrome. In fact, I think that Safari was actually a little bit slower. But the main thing I actually do when internet browsing, I'm sure that most people have been doing during a global health crisis, is video browsing. So it starts with YouTube. On most resolutions, the videos streams pretty well. When I got to some of the higher resolutions, it did slow down a bit, but then things got progressively worse when I started watching videos on this in 4K. The videos at that resolution were very laggy, the frame rate was much lower, it did start pausing and stopping randomly at certain points and just went really fast rapidly. So yeah, relatively good for internet browsing on YouTube, but I would stick to the lower resolutions and definitely have that security protection installed. I just want to, I know I keep mentioning the security protection, but I just want to give people some reassurance. So then I tried some other sites like Dailymotion, which was reasonably well. Then I tried BBC iPlayer, which had absolutely no issues. Tried a few episodes. I even streamed The Joy of Painting by Bob Ross, because who doesn't love a bit of Bob Ross every now and then? But yeah, on iPlayer it worked fantastically. No issues there, no quality issues, no lagging issues, no lower frame rates. It streamed how it usually does on a computer nowadays. The next thing I want to try out that most iMacs don't have nowadays, and probably most computers don't even have nowadays, is the DVD player. Now for this one I wanted to be careful with my video choice. If, for example, I didn't want to select anything from Disney because I would either get copyrighted or cease and desist, knowing how much of a disgusting company Disney can be. I mean, they closed down Blue Sky Studios, so what else were we expecting from them? They literally bought the parent company of their biggest competition, and then they shut them down entirely. Although, going off topic, I am thankful that we won't get any more Ice Age films, because that franchise really needs to die. Anyway, back on topic. So, the DVD player, I picked a UK independent art house film from 2014 called Frank, which I would recommend you check out the IMDb page, because it explains about the film a lot better than I ever could. In fact, it's actually been a while since I've seen it. So since I haven't seen it for a while, I thought I'd just try it out on this. And it functioned perfectly fine, just how a DVD player should. No lagging issues, the video played as it should be. And yeah, it's just absolutely no issues with that there.
Kiss me, just kiss me, Aphrodite, just the way you like it, just the way you like it. Kiss me, lipstick ringo, that's the way you like it.
This is your most likable song ever?
Yeah.
People will love it.
The next thing I did was something I've actually done pretty recently during the pandemic, and that is mess around on GarageBand. So I had a little bit of a play around with it, just went through some of the loops and some of the instruments. I know that GarageBand isn't the best tool for producing professional music, as someone who does want to make a profession of producing music, but I really need Logic Pro X for that. But for now, I've got this version of GarageBand, and after having a play around with it, this is what I managed to produce. So, yeah, moving on. The final thing I wanted to do with this was something that I do partly for a living, and that is actually making videos, because on some of my other YouTube channels I have actually been able to do YouTube for some kind of job, even though I'm not making a lot of money from it, but I am making enough to get me to places I want to go to. So with that, let's have a look at iMovie. So the thing I did was I actually plugged in my G drive and used some footage from a furry convention in Scotland called ScotiaCon, which I actually mentioned in my projector video from Wish. So I messed around with the footage, just put a few bits and pieces on there, and just worked with what I had. I think I actually used some iLife audio, and yeah, this is what it managed to produce. Alright, so after that, I tried something that I haven't actually done for years prior to getting hold of this, and that is the use of iDVD. Because when iMacs and MacBooks stopped using CD and DVD drives, even though they did bring out some USB versions, which I have actually got in my drawer somewhere, but I can't be bothered to get it out, I actually put some of my films on DVDs, but with my latest version of Mac OS Big Sur, and well prior to that actually, I haven't been able to do that. Let me just clear that up one more time. So since I got my 2013 MacBook Air, I haven't been producing as much DVDs as much as I used to, and because when I got it, I don't think it actually had iDVD on it, and I actually can't get iDVD to work on it because it's actually outdated, and according to Mac OS Big Sur, it needs to be updated in order to work with it. So I just thought, well, I've had this, and while iDVD is just right in front of my eyes there, so I thought, I'll use that, I'll try it out. So what I did for this, I just put the edit I did of ScotiaCon in iMovie, and just produced a little DVD, just messed around with the features on iDVD for a bit, burnt a blank DVD that I had thankfully lying around. Then what I did was I took the DVD downstairs and put it on the TV, and let's just see how it worked. So yeah, I actually thought that came out reasonably well. The DVD works perfectly fine, had absolutely no issues there. So yeah, considering the fact that this is a bit outdated, and the fact that the features on it aren't as good as the later stuff, but does this still serve a purpose? Personally, yes, I think it does. Because even some of the stuff on it, mainly like iMovie or GarageBand, may not be as good or have the contents like the modern version should. Well, even internet browsing, to be fair, was actually pretty good. I can't fault it on that, apart from the streaming in 4K videos. And even I think if you have the best internet connection, you will have some potential issues with that. So if you do stumble across one of these in a sale, or come across one of these secondhand, either on Facebook Marketplace or in a secondhand computer shop, or wherever you may come across one of these, if you are curious and you just want to go for it for the nostalgic purposes, I kind of recommend it. But if you want to start moving upwards and start doing things professionally, and get the best out of your video editing and music producing and maybe anything else in between, it's not really going to be ideal for stuff like that. This is all just from my eyes. I'm sure that somebody who actually works with computers or does a lot of work with computers, whether that be for a living, professionally, or maybe just somebody who reviews computers, will probably might tell you something otherwise. But this is just from my experience from this machine that is coming up to about 15 years old. Personally, I still think it holds up well, considering some of the features are a little bit laggy, mainly the 4K internet browsing, because 4K wasn't even a thing when this came out. I mean, it probably was a thing when it came out, but it probably wasn't as consumer known or as consumer available when this did come out. And with that, that's really all I have to say for this machine. It's been real fun using this for the first time in a very long time. I did briefly use it while my uncle had it, and it was, I think, shut up for several days while my cousin had it, and they didn't use it a lot. But it was good to see some stuff on this that I haven't seen for years, or maybe even the last decade even. But it's brought back so many memories, and yeah, I've just thrown every single word about this I can possibly say. Just one thing I want to mention one last time. I know I've done this a few times. If you do get one of these and you are thinking of putting it online, please, please, please put security protection on it. I feel like anyone who works with computers will tell you exactly the same thing, because if you haven't got the security protected, this will be liable for anything that may happen to you. For example, identity theft, stolen passwords, literally any security breach that you may be open to. So yeah, definitely get a security protection installed on this thing if you do ever get your hands on one. And that's it for this video, so thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. Mwah.